Hello, ladies, and welcome to The Beauty Shaman. And today is part 2 on a 3-part series that I am doing with the fabulous Jules Pelayev, who, with Joe Shaman, wrote The Conscious Cleanse: Lose Weight, Heal Your Body, and Transform Your Life in 14 Days. I love this cleanse. If you watch my channel, you know I love this cleanse. I do this cleanse twice a year. And today we are going to cover, in about 10-15 minutes, the topic of weight loss and fasting with Jules here. So thank you so much for joining me, Jules.
Hi, Suzanne. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so weight loss, oh my God, this is it, right? This is like such the thing. We're all like obsessed, except you, because you've been doing this for so long, you don't need to worry about it. But the rest of us, I mean, it's hard, right? It's like a really challenging thing. Women bring it up all the time with weight loss. So let's talk about it.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is the topic. And I think, we live in a society of excess and convenience, and and it's something that we really struggle with until we sort of unlock a few key ideas that help us find that our perfect body weight, which is something that we talk about in the Conscious Cleanse quite a lot. Spend 14 days eliminating allergens from your diet, get in touch with true hunger. Be in the inquiry of, am I really hungry? Ask yourself, is that a truly nourishing food for me? And you start to break down, the science, not the science, but the emotions behind what we eat and why we eat. I think so often that plays really a big piece of, why we gain weight. What we eat, why we eat it, the emotion behind it, the energy that we bring to it, and then certainly making sure that you're eating life-generating foods that are not contributing to, for you, inflammation, to cravings, to things that are, keeping your blood sugar on a roller coaster ride. We oftentimes start with our coffee in the morning. We need more coffee in the afternoon, and then we need wine to wind us down in the evening, right? So we're on this like constant cycle.
Yes, and it messes with our whole hormones and everything. I mean, all that whole roller coaster ride, right?
Yeah. So weight loss is something that, I feel like people come to the cleanse. Oftentimes that's what they're after. We're after losing 5 pounds, 10 pounds, sometimes 15 pounds, sometimes 30 pounds, sometimes, 60 pounds. And when we release a little bit of weight and we're at that perfect body weight for ourselves, we feel really good and we show up in the world in a different way. We show up empowered and confident, and there's a real ripple effect to finding your perfect body weight. So something that I wanted to talk about today was this hot topic of fasting. Yes. Intermittent fasting has been really brought to light recently by the health community and by a lot of functional medicine doctors who are using fasting. And there's a lot of research actually supporting this idea that we've actually been talking about on the Conscious Cleanse for a while. And on the Conscious Cleanse, we have 2 weekends where we introduce people to a topic called purification. So purification is a modified form of a fast. And let me be clear on the Conscious Cleanse, not to confuse people. You eat real food for the first 5 days. You eat lots of it. So this includes organic lean cuts of meat, wild fish, wild game, non-gluten grains, lots of veggies, nuts, seeds, all that sort of thing. But on the weekends, so for 2 weekends in a row, 2 consecutive days, we offer this idea of purification. And purification is a modified form of a fast, in that you're only eating fruits and veggies on the first weekend with just a little bit of oil or a little bit of healthy fat. And then the second weekend is an opportunity to do liquids only. So this could be juices, it could be lemon water with cayenne, it could be bone broth, it could be soup, a blended soup that's really warm and nourishing. Both of these ideas are fast in that you're eating quick digesting foods. And the idea behind this type of fast is it introduces you to fasting but without totally restricting food. So you can still eat. You can eat as many fruits and veggies as you want over the course of the day, but you're going to be, you're still chewing that first weekend. You're still in a fast because fruits and veggies don't take that long to break down in the digestive system. So in this modified type of a fast, you're eating your fruits and your veggies, and they're, like I said, quick digesting, and it gives the digestive system this opportunity to rest. And that's what we're doing when we fast, ultimately. And I'll talk a little bit about intermittent fasting and other types of time restricted feeding and that sort of thing in a minute. But when you reduce what goes into the system, you, in a way, you reduce the burden on your body. So 80% of our body's energy goes to digestion. So after every single meal, if you think of the energy that your body uses to keep everything working and flowing and functioning, 80% of the focus of the blood flow of the energy goes to digestion. And in that process is, the breakdown of food, it's the digestion, it's the assimilation, it's the absorption, and then it's the waste. And waste is something that people don't talk about nearly enough. And I like to say, and my mentor taught me, that waste equals weight. So when you fast, you create this vacuum effect. And the vacuum effect is really cool because it literally creates this suction of pulling toxins out of your fat cells, out of your tissues, and out of your colon. So it's a way to get into deeper detox. For us on the cleanse, when we talk about purification, we want people to get into deeper layers of detox to awaken old fecal matter, which is a really gross term for most people. But most people have, even if you fasted, most people, especially if you've been eating meat your whole life, there is a compacted waste matter on the colon wall. And that's the stuff that causes disease because it's been there for a long time. It's putrefied, it's stuck. Oftentimes when it comes out, it's very, very unpleasant, but you want it to come out because like I said, that what is there caked on the colon wall could be traced back to many, many of the diseases that we're faced with, when we're young, but mostly as we get a little bit older.
Well, absolutely. And I've done this before, and it's really amazing how much your body, like when you're doing all that elimination, all that's coming out, how much lighter my mind was, clearer. Like it was incredible, just the physical difference of doing that
Yeah.
sort of class. Yeah.
Yeah, I think people always, with fasting, they're concerned that they will not have the mental clarity or the energy that they need to work or work out or go about their regular daily activities, taking care of their family, whatever it may be. And in reality, once you get over the hump, and I will say, oftentimes there is a hump with fasting, but once you get over the hump and you learn to recognize, okay, that's hunger, those are hunger pains, and here's what I can do. I can have I can have a big glass of water. I can have some dandelion tea. I can have a green veggie juice. I can have a smoothie. I can give myself something to help me get over the hump. I can go for a walk. I can take a bath. I can stand on my head. You start to break free of, the signals in the body don't always mean that you have to stuff food in your mouth. You can just say, okay, I'm hungry. That's what that is. And then you start to learn how to kind of work with your body in a whole new way. And going back to the energy piece, what people say is they can't believe how much energy they actually have when they're fasting. Did you experience that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's why I love doing it. I think I think I told you I did a 28-day one earlier this year, sort of a modified version. Oh my God, I felt amazing.
Yeah.
For 28 days, and I slept amazing, and I thought, and it actually was very freeing, and I think this is an important point of the emotions of it, is it felt freeing to not have to get up and have a coffee and have a glass of wine at night, and I need some carbs, or whatever is your craving. I tend to crave salt, like that tends to be my thing, but but in any case, all of that was like erased, and when I went off of it, I didn't want the other stuff. It was crazy.
Yeah, so you sort of reset your system, you reset your metabolism, you reset your taste buds, you reset your cravings, you reset your habits. It is very freeing, especially, to break free of that habit. If you have a habit of going through the Starbucks drive-through every day, it's like, oh, what am I going to do with that extra 10 minutes? Maybe I'm going to meditate, or maybe I'm going to clean out the junk drawer. And that's actually one of the funny things that we see in our program is that, people go through purification. They think they're going to be so tired when in reality, they find themselves like gutting their closet, donating old clothes, cleaning out the basement. They have all this extra energy and extra time, frankly, on your hands when you're in this state.
Right.
And but I thought,
yeah, I think generally I want to point out too, a lot of times when you do this, you notice the swelling just goes down. I mean, every time I've done a cleanse, I'll automatically, now I've done it so many times that I don't necessarily lose weight, but my swelling goes down. It's amazing how much swelling we have. And I'll go, okay, I've lost maybe 4 or 5 pounds, but wow, like all my whole shape has changed. So yeah, that happens too.
Well, right. And that is that vacuum effect. People say, oh, that's just water that you're releasing. And actually there's that vacuum effect that's pulling out gas in your system. So there's little gas bubbles that are trapped in your colon wall. And when you create that vacuum effect and you pull out the waste and you pull out that old fecal matter, you're reducing the impact of that gas, which is a big problem for a lot of people. That swelling and the inflammation, again, there's a lot of research coming out about intermittent fasting specifically. But fasting has been around for a long time. The sages and the spiritual saints way back in the day were using fasting as a way to gain mental clarity, to be more of a clear channel to connect to their higher source and their higher power. Which is, pretty cool.
Yeah, and that's great because you call it the conscious cleanse. And so really it is. It does bring up a lot of that level of consciousness. It does raise it. There's no way they can't, because you're flushing out stuff that's been holding you back.
Yeah, and are you familiar with intermittent fasting? Have you talked to people about it?
I've actually read the original book on it. So yeah.
Oh, cool. And is that something that you've practiced with results?
I have done, yes, I've done intermittent fasting. I don't do it probably as much as I would like to do it. I think I tend to go for the all-out cleanse, but I think each person has to figure out what works for them.
And the research I've read about intermittent fasting, maybe you could have put a link to that book that you read, but the research I've done about it is showing that it's not even so much, and this is blasphemy for me to say, but it's not even so much about what you eat as it is about when you eat. And this is liberating for a lot of people. Our approach on the conscious cleanse is to give people baby steps and stepping stones, and think of things as a bridge to get you from, where you are to the next level. And you just want to keep kind of going up those stair steps until you can reach the higher levels of optimal health. But it can be really daunting to think about, getting rid of all your favorite foods, tomorrow, and like gutting your cabinet. But so this idea with intermittent fasting, and I would, always advocate for people eating good food when they're in their eating window, as opposed to McDonald's or whatever it is. But again, it's a stepping stone. And so intermittent fasting basically says that you create an eating window. You create an eating window, and you get to decide when that is, depending on people's lifestyle. It could be, it could be different based on what my lifestyle might be. But the fasting window, and what happens is that after you eat dinner, let's say you finish eating dinner at 7:00, you want to go for at least 12 hours of not eating. So that's your fasting window. And in essence, we're doing this every single night when we sleep. People get into trouble when they eat after dinner, because essentially, if you can stop eating after dinner and think of yourself as in a fasting mode all the way until breakfast means to break fast. To break the fast is to give yourself that window of time when your body is cleansing, processing, eliminating, releasing toxins. Like, there's so much repair work that happens during that fasting time, and we get to sleep through it, which is really cool. So that's one of the other benefits of this intermittent fasting, is you're going into a fasting state, from after dinner time until you need to eat the next day. So some people will take this beyond 12 hours. Beyond 12 hours is when you get into that fat burning mode. For people who are obese or who have a lot of weight to lose, it's important to go upwards of 14 or 16 hours. So you might not have your first meal, your breakfast until maybe 11 a.m. And then some people will push it to 12 p.m. And then you end up eating in a window between, say, 11 and 6 or 12 and 7. And during that period of time, you can eat as much as you want and much as you need to feel satiated. Which is again, it's proving to work really, really well for weight loss for people, for reducing inflammation, for helping people with all sorts of different ailments, just by, going into that extended fast, really when we're sleeping, and extending, breakfast a little bit later in the day.
That's great, Jules. I really appreciate everything you've shared. I think this is all really good practicals for people watching to be able to feel like, yeah, I can actually do this. This is doable. It's not going to be, I'm going to be starving and lying around. I think the understanding that you're going to have more energy, you're going to feel great. It's just getting over that initial hurdle. So thank you so much for all.
Exactly. Then you have to figure out what works for you. Like you said, a cleanse works for you. For other people, the intermittent fasting works really well. For other people, doing a day of cleansing once a week works really well. So it is all about finding out what works best for you, your body, and your lifestyle.
Yeah, I love that. Well, thank you so much, Jules, for sharing all this stuff about weight loss. So, and thank you, ladies, for watching. Please put your comments down below. And, just to remind you, this is a 3-part series with Jules, and I'll be doing another 3-part series with Joe, her co-founder, on similar topics. These are all super informative. Please watch all of them. And thank you so much for watching The Beauty Shaman.